So this one is a 45-degree hip extension. Amazing, amazing piece of equipment. But there's two ways we can do this to hit the glutes. The first, the more simple way, is with our feet down at the bottom here. Right, what Dan is going to do, he's set this pad nice and low. The way to do that is simply lift it up and drop it down. What we need on this, first and foremost, is for the hips to be able to move without the back bending. So if you see here, his hips, his glutes can stretch, but without his back rounding off too much, all right? Come back up, Dan. So if this is set too high, lift it up. This is how we adjust it. If it's set a little bit too high, you'll watch now, his back will have to round, but his hips don't move, okay? His hips there were fixed, no range of motion, but his back is moving a lot. So we need to make sure we set it up low enough. If, especially for you girls out there, you are a little bit too short to make that happen, what you can do is put 1 or 2 plates down there. What that's going to do is it's going to elevate you slightly, giving you the appropriate range of motion, okay? Dan doesn't need to do that, but for the sake of argument, we're going to show you there. So once we've set up, this is variation number 1. We've got the hips free to move. Dan is going to lean forward. Now, the taller you are, the longer your torso. You're going to want this a little bit further out, so you can set this pin here. The further out it is, it's going to be slightly heavier. Then from there, Dan is going to squeeze his glutes nice and hard, lifting, flexing, flexing, flexing. Now, if you find that this pumps your lower back, what you can do is, as Dan is doing, rounding off his spine a little bit and simply rolling through the glutes. This is going to prevent a little bit of the pump on the lower back. That being said, the lower back is still going to work, so expect it to get a little bit pumped. Now, relax there, Dan. Now, the second option, and this is the more advanced option, what we're going to do here is disengage the hamstrings a little bit by flexing the knee. And this is only to be used by those among you who are more advanced and a lot stronger. It's going to isolate the glutes a little bit more. Now, what we have here is bent knee position, quads, thighs pressed up against these pads. Now, if you find that the pads hurt a little bit too much, it will be because this foot plate is too far forward and it's pressing you in. So if this is hurting you, hurting your quads, move that foot plate back just a tiny bit. Then the movement is very, very similar. We've got our bent knees. Dan takes the bar in hand. If he's advanced enough to lift, flexes up like that. Now again, notice how the hips are moving. These are flexing and rotating, but the spine is not. This is how we know we've got the setup right and we're working on the glutes. Just one more rep, Dan, and relax there. So that is the 45-degree hip extension, both basic and advanced.